Defending in FC24 is a little bit difficult, but you sometimes wonder how your opponents are able to defend better than you. The reason behind that, best players mastered the basics of defending, and basics will always make you a better player no matter the meta. And one of the important basic defense mechanic is to know how to tackle the ball. We're gonna look on how you can tackle basically the overpowered tackling technique and also advanced defending, how to use it, its advantages and disadvantages, so let's jump in. Before we go any further, let's see mistakes some players make while defending. The common and the most punishable mistake is pressing the tackle button in a position where the defender can't reach the ball. This is so bad and you need to eliminate this instinct. Another mistake is not tackling at all. Some players have this habit of just pressing jockey button and follow up the opponent's player, so they depend on automatic tackles from the AI. This is good sometimes when opponent just tries to force his way through your defender, then you can win the ball in that manner. But it's not reliable because these auto tackle in FC24 are not as consistent as it was in past game series. They will fail you in many situations. So that's on how not to tackle. Now let's see how to tackle in this game. The first thing, you have to move close or be close to the opponent's ball holder. This is obviously because that's how it's done. We have some perfect moments where you can tackle with higher chances of winning the ball. Number 1 is when the opponent's player is dribbling recklessly, dribbling while the ball is open. The ball is in between your defender and his player. Here it's fine to try and tackle the ball away. That's why I always advise you to position your defender in front of that ball carrier. Here you can get many situations like this to tackle that ball. The next perfect moment is when the opponent is just receiving the ball. It can be possible only if you react one step ahead of your opponent. Switch to any nearest defender around that ball receiver, position him very close. If you understand the game direction concept, then you will be able to tackle that ball away. This works because the opponent has less time to react faster than you because you have been ahead of him in that scenario. The third and last perfect moment to tackle is when the opponent makes a heavy touch. Close ball control are those quick touch in each and every step that player with the ball makes, and here he can react fast to any action you want him to perform, like changing directions or passing the ball. But the heavy touch is when that ball moves some 3 to 4 or even more feet away from the player, and during that little moment, that player has to take some 2 to 3 or more steps in order for him to control that ball again. So during these steps he has no control of the ball and vulnerable to tackles. So how can you understand that the opponent's player has made a heavy touch and make a decision to tackle? Number 1, if that player is sprinting, then he's making a heavy touch, because he need to move fast. So that player has to push that ball some distance forward in order for him to generate that acceleration speed. And so it's perfect moment to tackle the ball. 2. After performing a skill move, normally skill moves are designed such that your player exit with a heavy touch. As the defender you realize your opponent is performing a skill, position your player at the exit point of the skill. By the way, understanding animation of skill move is very crucial, so wait at the exit point and tackle the ball. We have this overpowered tackling technique, the hard standing tackle. Here you press both the R1 plus circle or RB plus B. Your player makes a long lunging and tackles away the ball. The reason why it's overpowered, that aggression towards the ball carrier. Some players tend to abuse the controlled sprint. You can use this hard tackle and your player will use force to win that ball. Then we have that slide tackle where you press square or X on your controller. Here the player commit in and slides towards the ball. I'm not fond of using the slide tackle, but let me give you some tip to use it effectively. Even here the ball has to be open in a position where your player can slide in and tackle it, then ball contact is also applied here. So the tip is to wait that moment when the opponent's player is moving horizontally, then you have to move your defender diagonally and slide in to tackle the ball, but be careful while using it inside the box. Tackling, we shall not talk only about the stand tackle or the slide tackle, but let's generally look at the action of winning the ball from the opponent's player. In FC24 we have two best types of defending applicable on online modes, and the first is the tactical defending. Tactical defending is a manual defense type but with some automatic tackling system. So when you press circle or B on your controller to tackle, the in-game AI will analyze the situation and take action to win the ball for you. For example, if the opponent's ball carrier is in front of defender, so if you press the tackle button, automatically the game will trigger a standing tackle, and your defender will lounge in to tackle away the ball. Next, if the opponent's player is sideways but close to your player, then you press the tackle button. The game automatically will understand it's a running duel, so it will trigger the shoulder seal, and automatically your defender will push the opponent's player away and win the ball back. Or sometimes you find yourself behind the opponent's player, you can spam the tackle button and your defender will pull the shirt of that player. You can even press it once and that defender will pull the shirt. But all these actions from the AI are not consistent. Sometimes it can be a shoulder challenge and you press the button, but instead the defender will try and make a standing tackle, and these are very common errors which are not suitable for that situation. Advanced defending is a new defending style which gives you plenty of options on how you can challenge for the ball from the opponent's player. It's more manual than tactical defending in terms of 1v1 scenarios. We have the tackle button circle or B. You press this button and your player performs a standing tackle to dispossess the opponent's player. Then X, or A, when pressed your defender will either use his shoulder to push the opponent's player off the ball, or sometimes he will pull his shirt if necessary. So let's see the basic way to understand the situation where you can use the standing tackle, the shoulder seal out and the shirt pull while using the advanced defending style. Beginning with tackling, you can use this if the opponent is in front of your defender, meaning the opponent's player is moving towards the direction your defender is covering. The simple knowledge to understand this, the opponent's player has to be moving in a different direction from that of your defender. For example here, the opponent is moving in this direction trying to enter the box, as the defender am in front of that player, so I need to move to a different direction, but it has to cut off the path of this ball holder towards my goal, so I decide to move like this. This opens up the room to tackle the ball. I move close and tackle the ball away. Watch all the clips I have used in this tackling section, you will realize it's the same logic. So what about the shoulder seal out? This normally happens in a running duel against the opponent's ball carrier, and many times the opportunity comes if your defender is in a shoulder-to-shoulder position. Timing is the key here. As the opponent is running, he makes those heavy touches, move close to his player and press X, or A, on your controller. That defender will do a shoulder seal to push that player off the ball. Some players tend to use the shoulder seal while in front of the opponent's player. This sometimes will work, but on certain occasions which we're gonna see, but it's not consistent and sometimes your player won't be in a position to do that, so I recommend you to follow the basics. Then we have the shirt pull. This normally comes when your defender is behind the opponent's player. Just press X, or A, that defender will pull the player's shirt, in an attempt to slow him down, or force him to make some errors. You always have the better way to handle that situation. When using tactical defending, sometimes it could be a shoulder seal out, but the game will decide to perform a standing tackle for you. Advanced defending, you will decide what's the best according to the way you understand the situation. And lastly, you can win aerial ball with low risks of causing a penalty inside the box. Your defender handles the situation very well. The shoulder challenge needs some defenders with strength and certain playstyles, like the bruiser and anticipate playstyle. If your player doesn't have any of those playstyle, still he needs some strength above 85. But if he doesn't have one of what we have talked about, he will have a difficult time to use a shoulder challenge against a player stronger than him. This is really a huge disadvantage. Using the advanced defending needs high skilled level of defending, so if you're a beginner, don't attempt to use it. The number one common mistake when using the advanced defending is forgetting about the tackle button. Some players will be spamming X button in every situation. For example here, my opponent is spamming the X button as you can see, so now here I'm facing his goal and he's facing my player, meaning I'm moving to this direction, and he's also moving to a different direction, as we talked about. Here it's a tackle challenge, but he press X on his controller, his player performs a shirt pull animation, I dribble and leave that defender behind and I score. Just a simple mistake of spamming the button. Now we come to a conclusion. Should you use the tactical defending or the advanced defending? Many of you will hate me for saying this. If you know you have many challenges while defending, you still struggle to understand the right way to jockey, defender positioning and player switching, you struggle to keep your defense in shape. Advanced defending is for advanced players, players who knows when to press and to cut passing lanes, and totally they understand the defense knowledge. So if you know you struggle with defending, don't use the advanced defending for your own good, and some of you like to face the challenges, but first improve your skills first. Advanced defending is recommended for player in Elite Division and even Division 1, these players can use this defense style. If you know you're Division 3 or 2 player, and you want to face up some challenge, you can try and use it, but still you have to be aware of your strengths defense-wise. So that's it for today, thanks for watching.